So it's 2,175 feet of elevation, the notch that's called Smuggler's Notch. It separates Mount Mansfield, which is the highest peak in Vermont, from Spruce Peak and Sterling Range. It drops down, goes back up to Spruce Peak. It's a notch that has a road that goes through it, but because of the nature of the road, it's not passable in the wintertime, at least in motorized vehicles. And if you've ever been through it, you know this road just makes its way like between all these huge boulders. It takes some very attentive driving to be able to make your way through the notch, because the barriers, all the rocks, the boulders make a straight way completely impossible in this little stretch. There's this passage in Isaiah chapter 40. It was part of the lectionary for the second Sunday of Advent. It goes like this: "Comfort, O comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and cry to her that she has served her term, that she has paid her penalty, that she's received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins." A voice cries out, "In the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be lifted up, every mountain and hill be made low. The uneven ground shall become level, and the rough places a plain. Then the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all people shall see it together. Every valley shall be lifted up, and every mountain and hill will be made low." I assume part of this was an exit strategy. The Israelites, who'd been for 48 years in captivity in Babylon, they'd paid their debt, and now it's time to go home. But if you know anything about the geography of that space, there's a lot of up and down, a lot of contours and curves and barriers like there are, around Smuggler's Notch. And the promise, though, is that there will be a way. What strikes me about this expression, this reality of Smuggler's Notch, is that, not every mountain was brought low, and not every valley was lifted up, right? Life happens. The way that the planet was created unfolds. And yet, in the midst of that, God comes. So I'll invite us to think, pray about the mountains that we are trying to find a way through, or the valleys through which we are trying to navigate during these days. It might be a health dilemma that occupies everything you've got. Seems insurmountable. Might be a feeling of isolation or loneliness or restriction on your freedom. It might be a complication related to how education unfolds in these days. these huge, sweeping struggles within our society as a nation and our world. Concerns like that voiced by the lead of the World Health Organization that rich nations will trample the poor in the stampede for the vaccine. And into the midst of whatever the insurmountable or whatever the deep, seemingly inescapable valley is, we hear this little voice. Every valley shall be lifted up, and every mountain and hill made low, the rough places a plain. We might even hear the beauty of song reminding us of this. Little by little, the voice, the promise, can remind us that even though the mountains will still be there, there is a way, and though the valley's deep or dark, there's a presence and an accompaniment. As we find God in these times of COVID. December the 7th. Blessings on your day.